Welcome to The Hook,
where music and art come together
with the people that created it. I'm Johni.
I'm Jess.
You're on The Hook.
Today on The Hook, we're diving into roots reggae, global rhythms, and music with a mission.
We're sitting down with Mighty Joshua, an artist whose sound blends classic reggae with powerful modern energy, the kind that makes you move and think, maybe even question a few things.
His 2024 album, DREADUCATION, earned national acclaim and even Grammy consideration, featuring legends like Junior Marvin of the Wailers, Lunky Branch, and Ross Mel.
He's opened for icons like Ziggy Marley, Steel Pulse, and Beres Hammond. And his live shows don't just light up a room, they shift it. There's energy, there's purpose, there's connection.
And what's really interesting about his journey, he wasn't just building this as an artist. He was also working in education, shaping young minds while building a message-driven music career at the same time.
And beyond the music, he's doing incredible work supporting youth in Kenya through the Makindu Children's Center, a partnership that's been going strong for over 20 years.
So yeah, this isn't just an episode, it's a whole experience.
Mighty Joshua and Ian Hartman, you're on The Hook.
What pulled you into reggae? Was it a sound, a feeling? Was it a moment?
It was my big brother. My brother went away to college. I grew up in Charlottesville. So he went off to Virginia State and was exposed to all of this good music, culture, food, information. And he started coming home with these tapes that were these Sound Clash tapes out of Jamaica, and they were like live Sound Clash. And that's what kind of got my attention initially. I guess I was like 14, 15 years old. Blew my mind. And then I got into like roots, because that's more of a dance hall culture, the Sound Clash culture. Got into roots and culture, and it changed how I listened to music, changed how I did everything. It was mind-blowing, the world of reggae music for me.
I want to know what you were listening to before that moment.
A lot of rap music.
Okay.
Yeah, and I still listen to rap music. But yeah, NWA, Public Enemy. My brother exposed me to a lot of music. So my first real concert, my mother and father took me to see Kool and the Gang. I want to say, like, do y'all remember these music series that they do at King's Dominion?
Oh, yeah.
So I saw Patti LaBelle, I saw Kool and the Gang as a youth. And then my brother started taking me to concerts. Public Enemy, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Run DMC. He would not let me be home for too long. My big brother would pick me up. We'd drive to D.C. My mother knew nothing about any of this. Yeah, we go to go-go shows. Yeah, like junkyard bands. So I got exposed to live music at a pretty young age and had my mind blown. So
we might have crossed paths because that's when I was in DC.
Okay.
So that's where I went to high school. So I was going to Safari Club and 930 and Fifth Column. And, yeah. I was running around DC going to all those shows. And my mother didn't know where I was either.
Yeah. It's probably best she didn't.
Yeah, we're going to talk to somebody who is a big 930 Club person tomorrow, but I was trying to remember what the last show I was at the OG 930 Club, and it was Biz Markie. And it was so good. It was such a good show. And I don't even know how he ended up there, or how I did, but it was fantastic.
I got a Biz Markie story I'll share with you another time.
Nice. He's dirty.
That's why he's sharing it with you another time.
That's the way you said it. You dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ian, what got you into reggae?
High school friends had early Bob Marley stuff, like Lee Perry type recordings. A little bit of exposure there. On a recommendation of my cousin, I got a King Tubby album. King Tubby is a dub engineer from Jamaica. Yeah, so the art of dub is to take a recorded full band, full performance, and then strip it down to drum and bass and kind of highlight that as the main elements of the mix, and then supplement it with like wild reverb and delays and stuff. It's a pretty wild musical form, but I clicked that in my CD player, and man, my life changed at that moment. I had bought a bass just months prior to that. Went from like the blues to reggae full time, at that moment. That kind of developed into starting a band in 1999 in San Luis Obispo, California. Big up Resonation. They're still playing today. And then just kind of been part of my life ever since.
And now Mighty Joshua.
So I realized, thinking about you guys coming in, that I have kind of a legendary story. I saw Yellow Man in D.C., and I was tripping balls. The greatest part of that story is that he literally had a yellow glow. And I'm talking about like 10 feet in all directions off him. It was real. Yeah.
About as real as it get.
He was one of the best reggae shows I ever saw until Mighty Joshua.
I've seen Yellow Man a bunch of times. Well, I lived on the Outer Banks for, 10 years or so.
Okay.
And I was telling her earlier that I got to see Ziggy back in the 90s.
Protocol, maybe?
Yes!
Protocol, that's where you took me. Yes, they probably played
I
there.
lived right behind Protocol.
Oh, you live in the middle of it all then.
Oh, I could hear the ocean and the
Miles.
music.
Yeah, the
Anyway.
cool thing about playing Protocol was that they had a beach house for you, for the
Yes,
bands that was just right
exactly.
around the corner. And then the after party was at the beach house. You remember?
Yeah.
I think we played there a couple of times.
I know exactly the house. I know.
Yeah,
And how
She
we
probably been in that house.
I can see it
We
in
won't
your
even
eye.
talk about what she been doing in that house.
Yeah, it was on for sure. So reggae has such a deep culture and spiritual foundation. Who were some of those early voices or artists that really shaped the way you hear and create music?
Bob and Peter were really accessible. Old pirates robbed I, sold I to the merchant ships. Yeah! Old pirates, yes, they rob I. Sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hands of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing? And then also kind of getting some of that Ika Mouse. He has a very dynamic voice and style. Bob got me pretty early, and then Peter right after Bob. And then Burning Spear really started to kind of hold me. The feeling that Burning Spear and the Burning Band would really push me to want to be a part of that energy. So Burning Spear was a huge part of that. And then later, there's a band called Midnight out of St. Croix, Virgin Islands. And when that band hit the scene, they were based in D.C. for a little while. When that band hit the scene, everything changed. Like even reggae music changed forever.
Are they still playing?
The lead singer transitioned to Zion maybe, 3-4 years ago? The band still plays, and the producer, Tippy, is very active. So influential that you're seeing a lot of reggae artists throughout the entire Caribbean start to work with Tippy. So the sound that Tippy helped create with Midnight is now being stamped on reggae music in a way that the sound is like changed and evolved quite a bit. Vaughn, his voice alone, you feel it in your everything. His lyrical content is so different from like traditional roots reggae. It's very spiritually scientific in some ways. It's the future and the past at the same time. It moves things. The band that they were in right before he transitioned, it was a band called Ake Becca. That name alone is like the sound that is made by the angels. When you listen to their music, the sound is made by angels.
Everything that you're saying to describe that is how I feel at one of your shows. So if that was your influence, it is working really well. So we saw Mighty Joshua last month. My husband ran into a friend of his that was in a band he drummed in. We all ended up kind of hanging out in the same section. And while we were there, he said, I'm not really big into reggae. It's my nephew's birthday. Here for that. He like had this disclaimer. Okay. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Weird. John Jay. if you're listening. The two opening bands played. He's just kind of kicked back, having his drink, chilling. Y'all start playing. I start seeing him move just a little bit. And then I see him start moving just a lot of bit. And then all of a sudden, his hands are out and he is up and down the VIP section. And I'm looking at him. And he looked at me and he goes, maybe I do like reggae. I said, no, you like Mighty Joshua.
Big up, John Jay.
Yeah.
This tune right here is called Sometimes. Sometimes you're on my mind all the time. Sometimes you got me checking for you in the daytime. Sometimes all the way to the nighttime. Sometimes Majesty, you move me, caught between a dream and reality. It's not just your beauty, it's your heart beating inside of me. I love it when we do what we do and we do it. You're gonna make me write a love song for you, baby, and another one for you, babe. Oh, sometimes sugar cane juice in the summertime. Sometimes love is a fresh vegetable alkaline. Sometimes we'll up select a press rewind. Sometimes watch. Woman, you strengthen me, good for my heart and my soul, yeah. Nothing can break we. Strong like the lion in Zion. Together we will conquer anything. I'm blessed to spend a lifetime with you, my queen. Lord have mercy, what do you need? Oh, sometimes you're on my mind all the time. Sometimes you got me checking for you in the daytime. Sometimes all the way to the nighttime. Sometimes. Yeah, so Johni and Jess. You ever have somebody on your mind, you thinking about them all the time, but you're trying to tell yourself not to think about them all the time?
It's bad.
And so you can't even admit it. It's like I can't just say that I'm thinking about them all the time. So I tell myself it's just sometimes. But deep down in my heart, I cannot stop thinking about them. Yeah. So change. Hey, Majesty, you move me, caught between a dream and reality. It's not just your booty, this is your heart beating inside of me. I love it when we do what we do and we do it. You're gonna make me write a love song for you, baby, and another one for you, babe. Oh, sometimes sugar cane juice in the summertime. Sometimes love is a fresh vegetable alkaline. Sometimes we'll up select a press rewind. Sometimes and you just can't stop. Ian on guitar. We're in here with Johni and Jess. Sometimes. Thank you.
Yes.
good. That song right now is probably the most listened to song on like Spotify. People seem to like it. It's a song that I think we started it in North Carolina. We were on tour with a band called Signal Fire. We slept at their house, somebody's house, and they had a set up piano, keyboard. Me and the backing vocalist, we slept in a camper out in front of the house, and then everybody else kind of slept in the house. I came in to brush my teeth, and they were already like playing this kind of melody, this song. And so we started it there, recorded on our phone, came back and like finished it up.
One of the things that we loved learning about your story, or that I did talking to you, was that while you've been building Mighty Joshua, you have been also in tandem in education.
I went to VCU, studied psychology, got a bachelor's in psychology, and then got a job at a group home. Went back to school to get my master's and got real distracted by music and started seeing I could kind of make money, and I just got distracted by music. So I ended up getting a job at a private school out in the country. That was 23 years ago, and been in that school the entire time. I usually don't talk about it too much, but the kids find out that I play music. And now the organization also like celebrates. They come out to shows. They support me going on tour. When the kids find out, it's actually quite funny because it's like, hold on, wait a minute. I saw you on YouTube. Is this you? And I'm like, that ain't me. Somebody from work will show up with a T-shirt on and I have my face on it, and they'll just be like, the kids are like putting it together like that's not you. It's two different worlds. It's two different worlds.
Very cool.
I like doing what I do, and it's starting to get to a point to where I have to talk about it. So I come in and I'm walking to my office. I come through the back door and there's a guy sitting in my office with the head of school. And he looks at me when I walk in and he says, "What the fuck?" It's Mighty Joshua. What a joy it is to see the unification of my family. We can debate the source of self-hate, but we don't have precious time to waste. Now we're here, so what do? We must seek our elders, not for senseless clues. Trust me, they are the soul, the rhythm, the black and the blues, the pep in the step, the stone that the builder refused. So stand up tall and throw away your fears. The victory is ours. Wipe away those tears and dash away any hesitation. Be sure to know unity is our weapon, weapon, weapon. Please, my children, hear me when I say our ancestors walk with us every step of the way. Let not their fight and sacrifice wither in vain. Marcus, Magdalena, and Malcolm's aim was the same. They left us with the blueprint stamped in our DNA. There is not an obstacle that can stand in our way. We must power through for the generations to come. Put your differences aside. You can't make a fist with no thumb. So stand up tall and throw away your fears. The victory is ours. Wipe away those tears and dash away every hesitation. Be sure to know unity is our weapon. So stand up tall and throw away your fear. The victory is ours. Wipe away those tears and dash away every hesitation. Be sure to know unity is our weapon, weapon, weapon.
You're on the hook with Johni and Jess. Real conversations with musicians, artists, and creatives.
If you're a musician, artist, or creative, your website shouldn't look like an afterthought.
Your brand is your stage, and your website is often the first place people decide if you're the real deal.
River City Consulting builds websites specifically for creatives, musicians, performers, and artists who need an online presence that matches their talent.
They're also the official website agency for the Hook podcast.
Learn more at rivercityconsulting.com and use promo code THEHOOK for serious savings.
The Hook podcast.
Yeah, that tune has not been released just yet. It's been recorded. We recorded that at Mountainside in Charlottesville. It's one of my favorite tunes of our newer tunes right now.
When you're writing, are you chasing a message, or does the message kind of find you along the way?
The stories are already there. I just need to find a comfortable space to let them out. Today I was running and I couldn't concentrate on running because I was trying to get to my phone to jot down this memory that I was having. When I find peaceful places or like meditative spaces, it's almost like I'm a conduit for the stories that's like already inside, or stories that haven't even happened yet. So a lot of songs that we tend to write, they take place a lot of times during sound check. So it's a time when we're playing, everybody's just kind of tuning or fingering their instrument, and they're just finding a space. And the music is usually not a song that we're about to play. Everybody's just kind of, and we've written multiple songs through sound check as well. But if I'm sitting down or to write, then it's probably me running to a space to try to get this off of me.
We just interviewed a musician who was essentially saying that he believes that all these songs are already in the universe and that you just are the conduit. Some are, some aren't. And if you have your antenna up to receive it. Mm-hmm. And he was saying the same thing. He'll literally pull his car over and feel almost like it's being transcribed through his pen, and it's nothing that he's actively thinking about.
Some of them write themselves. For me, everything was icing on the cake. Like after one song, to me, it was like, all right, we got 2 songs. All right, cool. I just love reggae music. And it just happened that way. It was never a plan to like be a recording artist and performing for me. I just love reggae music.
I want to know the story of how this happened if it was not intentional.
Like right now?
Right now.
It's an interesting story to try to explain. Ooh, I don't know how far I should go back. I had a job at a place. I was in Richmond. I didn't really like the job. It was cool because I was in Carytown and I would see people all the time. I had access to really nice clothes and stuff like that, and it was cool. But I realized that I was like, first of all, I was making somebody else a bunch of money by selling their stuff. And then also it just wasn't what I wanted to be doing. So I came to work one morning after a very long night. I walked to work. I didn't sleep at all. My mind took me to other places, other universes. I was on a journey for about 24 hours.
Wow.
And I walked to work, same clothes I had on the night before. And I'd never quit a job before. I walked in, my father would never let me quit a job. I walked into this place and I was like, you know what? I hate this place. Matter of fact, I don't like you. My manager at the time was looking. First of all, I got there early and she was like, something's not right. Like, I told you I'm late to everything. She was looking at me like, you all right?
You're early and quit.
And I said, right.
You're early and quitting? Is that what you said?
I said, you know what? I hate this place. I quit. Yeah, I hate this place. And I quit. And she was like, are you all right? And I remember saying, I'm better than ever. and I walked out, and on my way home, I ran into this dude that asked me if I played percussion. He asked me if I played music. And at the time, I was also playing an African drum class at VCU. That's where I started to learn how to play percussion. It was African dance class. And so long story short, I was like, yeah. He was like, well, I'm looking for a percussionist. You should come to my house. And I went to his house and they already had a percussionist. And I'm like, this isn't good. Either this guy's getting fired if I get hired, or I don't know what's going to happen. And I ended up joining the band, and it was my first reggae band. And I played an African drum rig. So I played junjun, djembe. I had a whole rig where I played African percussion with this band. That band was called Ja Revelations. And we kept pretty busy. I was going to VCU at the time. I didn't have to get another job for a little while. The music kind of kept me alive. So then I went to another band, Richmond Dub Collective. All the while, Sammy Thunder, you probably know his name, bass player. He and I worked at Elwood Thompson's together, and that's my brother. Ended up being in a band with him, Richmond Dub Collective. Then it went to Antero, and I was in Antero for a while. And we were pretty busy. We were busy as we kind of wanted to be. But I played percussion in that band as well. But that's where I ended up with 2 songs. It was Mighty Joshua and a song called Economic Crisis, and a song called, actually 3 songs, and a song called Locks of Oppression. Those were all accidental songs. They were just songs where we would play around and practice and rehearsal. Wiley, Crazy Horse Jones, lead singer of that band, he got a small bladder. And so he'd have to go to the bathroom every 15 minutes. Sam would tell me, Joshua, pick up the microphone, man. Sing that song that you were working on. And I'd start singing whatever. That was the song Mighty Joshua.
So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. Mighty Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon. Say, mighty Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon. 1 piece of silver, 2 pieces of gold. Story so old like it's never been told. Mighty Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon. Say, mighty Joshua trod down through the Jordan River. Say, you move with 12 elders. Say, mighty Joshua trod with the Ark of the Covenant, with the blessings of Moses. Say, the mighty, mighty Joshua. Say, you're holy, holy Yeshua. Say, the mighty, mighty Joshua. So the holy, holy Yeshua. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. Mighty Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon. Say, mighty Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon. Reuben, tribe, Gad, and Manasseh. Move so swift, the wicked never see ya. Evidence of miracle, symbol of power. 12 stones placed for all to remember. Jericho surrounded by 30,000 soldiers. Circle 6 times singing songs of Jehovah. On the Sabbath is time that we remove ya. Blow your horn, burn down Babylon Tower. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So the mighty, 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 mighty. So mighty Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon. Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon. Say, mighty Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon. Say, mighty Joshua, chant down the walls of Babylon.
You're on the hook with Johni and Jess. Real conversations with musicians, artists, and creatives.
Planning an event and don't want to get stuck behind the bar? Let the pros handle it.
Twisted Cheers brings friendly, skilled bartenders straight to your event so you can relax and actually enjoy the party.
With flexible packages like Cap and Cork, Triple Sip, and Sip Sip Hooray, they make it easy to add a little extra wow to weddings, corporate events, birthdays, reunions, and private parties.
Visit twistedcheers.com to learn more and start planning your next event.
You're on the hook.
Fast forward, I ended up singing that song. We ended up having a substitute keyboard player that toured with international acts, and he sat in with us. We used to Martini Kitchen, I think.
That's where I met you guys.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. So there was a Reggae Mondays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made for a tired
Made for a very tired Tuesday. It built up. Every Monday, you would catch a reggae band of some sort. The band I was in Antero, we played there, and we had a substitute keyboardist who toured with Culture, who toured with Eka Miles, toured with some pretty big international bands. And I did my song, Mighty Joshua. And after the show, he was like, yo, man, the way people respond when you touch the mic is like how I see these guys respond to these big acts, man. You need to write more music. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather just play these drums. And he was like, nah, man, I'm going to send you some music. So he started sending me music, and I kept telling him I'm good. But then I started listening, I started writing, and I wrote one song, I wrote second song, third song, went up, recorded them with him, and then he continued to send me music. And so, you know, me sometimes being so absorbed into like right now, that's why I'm always late, because like right now is like pretty cool, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't really care to rush off. It's like I like being in this space. And so sometimes I like it so much to where I just don't, you know, be honest with you, I didn't even realize that we were really creating an album. By the time we were done, we had an album, and then this whole thing was like, you know what's next? We got to perform these songs. And I was like, oh, hell nah. I'm good, man. Like, I'm good. And he was like, nah. We put together a band, and my first, like, Mighty Joshua show was at the Hampton Coliseum, which is kind of crazy. Like my spot, I only did 3 songs, but like the spot that I had was pretty much butted up against the headliners, and nobody knew who I was. Nobody. But after those 3 songs, people were screaming Mighty, and I'm shaking. They're saying one more song, and I'm like, I ain't got no more songs. Like that's all we got. And I think that placement appeared to be known by somebody in front of people who didn't have a clue who I was because of my placement on, you know, on the stage, and name was on the billboard on the highway. And it's just like, who is Mighty Joshua? Nobody heard of me because I had 3 songs at the time. From that, he got busy and wasn't really available. And I had a show scheduled, and it was my first like show outside of that. And he was like, I got to go on tour. He was like, just cancel the show. And I was like, I'm not canceling the show. Nah, man. Why would I cancel it? And it was like the first show in Virginia Beach. I reached out to Sam. I was like, Sam, this is what's going on. Help me. Sam was like, I got you. And this is the way I remember things. So it could be completely wrong. So let's get that straight. Little disclaimer.
Did you read The Dirt?
Yeah.
Motley Crue's book, so good. Every chapter is a different version of the same time period by each band member, and it is a completely different story.
I love it. So I'll leave it to Ian if he cares to explain, because I know the part that I just gave you is pretty accurate, but I just remember, I know that I had a gig that was canceled that he left for. He was like, just cancel it. And I was like, I can't cancel it. Call Sam. Sam was like, let's put something together. And I remember being in Ian's basement. It was me, Sam, and Ian. And it's just like, all right, cool. We practiced the music. And then I'm like, we need a drum. Like, what we going to do about that? I knew Amon at the time, but I think you all had more of a line where you asked him to end up joining us.
Yeah.
It was the 3 of us, me, Sam, bass player, and Ian, in the basement, putting together our own band, and it just kind of grew. It just kind of grew from there.
All right. I have 2 things to say about this.
I have a question too.
I'm first.
Wait, I just have to ask one question.
Go.
Where in Virginia Beach was your first show then?
Where was that?
It was actually in Hampton, but down by the water. Yeah. In this little public park. And you had like dislocated your knee prior.
Yeah,
so you were
I was
on
on crutches, and I was told to
Which is
not
wild.
do that show. Yeah, By everybody, my mama, the doctor. I was like, we had some obstacles to get to
But
it. It's a dope organization, Virginia Reggae. They supported us big. And so we did a couple of Virginia Reggae festivals and shows with them. So
One of the things that just jumped out to me was that you made this decision for whatever reason that you were done. You had reached the end of that job and walked in and left. And the fact that you shut that door and one opened literally as you were walking out is just it's just how the world works if you're open to receiving it.
yeah.
But it just tells you could have forced yourself to do that job for another 5 years and been miserable and missed that entire opportunity.
Yep. And then would I be?
That's wild.
I mean, just to expand on that, I think when you kind of like open yourself up to the universe, doors open for you. When I decided to pick up the bass and play reggae music and pursue that, someone introduced me to a whole house of musicians that were like looking for a bassist at the time, playing reggae music. So I stepped in and joined that unit, and it was a fruitful career of 12 years of being in that band before I moved out here. And my wife was actually living in that house. It's like when you open yourself up, things happen.
And contrary to that, if you are constantly trying to break down doors that are shutting for you, determined to go in the wrong direction, it's always telling you the answer if you listen.
Mm-hmm.
We're learning that more and more and more through this podcast because of the creatives we're talking to, and everybody's on the same page with that. There's definitely something to
They all
that.
have the same story, but just different versions of it.
And you tried to fight it when they tried to get you to be the singer. You were trying to fight it. You were trying to shut that door back.
It was cool, just kind of hanging out in the back and being,
Right.
improvise, and just make sound, you know what I mean? And just not be the dude up front. Again, I always thought I would say something crazy on the microphone. I just have to stick to the script.
I had no idea you were a drummer till this moment. It's less hauling when you're on tour for you.
But I did learn that you can't stop by Guitar Center and get new vocal cords. So after like 5 or 6 days of singing, it's an interesting dynamic when you look at your choice of instrument. I don't have to carry drums, like big, that's his job. That's the drummer's job. But I do have to carry the weight of trying to take care of myself, my voice, because if I can't sing, I can't go to work.
Like when allergy season kicks in.
It definitely makes it difficult.
And now a message from Vix.
I believe there's a hot toddy too, potential.
Hot toddy.
Is Johnny?
Yep. Johnny likes a hot toddy. All right, we can't be in here having any kind of conversation without talking about Stay Mighty and what that really means and where it came from.
So when I first started singing, a friend of mine gifted me a button that said "Be Mighty." His name is Brian. Big up, Brian. He's an amazing spirit himself. He does bonfire T-shirts. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's like a crowdfunding thing online. Supports us hugely. And then also he has Bell Out Moonshine. He's a part of that team of people that puts together a pretty cool beverage as well for AB. We were at school together, very good friends. He gave me a button that said "Be Mighty." It was red and black, and that's the colors of the Mighty Joshua brand is red and black. We got some made, and then we'd give them away. And so once, we continued to develop, it was, now that we've been mighty, now we need to stay mighty. It's really just about really sticking to your plan. Whoever you are, however you present in the world, really sticking to who you are, not letting go of your morals or the way you see the world just because there's pressures around you that will squeeze it out of you. But just trying to stay focused, be courageous, and be brave at just being exactly how you are. So that was the stay mighty thing. So
Just a light answer.
now we gotta stay.
awesome.
Now we gotta stay mighty because.
Stay mighty.
Let's talk Dreaducation.
So I'll say that Dreaducation, there's a lot of mystery around the history of dreadlocks and around the history of oppressed African people throughout history. Dreaducation is my attempt to kind of educate the people about dread, which is already a very interesting word. In Rastafari, we speak in positive or in forward words. Word sound is power. So the words that you use can change and shape your destiny. So being very careful of the words you use. So even calling somebody a dreadlock is kind of a conflict, because seeing ourselves as blessed people, you see the dread is already a negative connotation. But dreadlocks was also a word given to African people that grew their hair this way out of a way of from the oppressor. So when they saw us, we were considered a dreadful people because the dread was always the revolutionary. The dread was always the one fighting the oppressor. Dreaducation is it's a new word. And it's an attempt to educate myself because a lot of these songs are stories to remind me of who I am. The things that you say and the things that you chant, you can manifest your destiny with these words. So a lot of these songs are songs to myself as well because we have to sing them every night. Dreaducation in itself is an album that is filled with stories to kind of give the history of the diaspora from the continent to the Caribbean to America to Europe. And so it's the education of my people. Yeah.
I love that. And also, I heard along the way that dreadlocks were actually, you grow them because Rastafarians believe that they are routes to heaven and it helps them get there faster. Have you heard that before?
So it's like...
It was somebody trying to get in her pants.
But no, yeah. I mean, they're like antenna. So the longer your locks grow, it's reaching for communication with the ancestors. It's reaching for communication. It's an energy. When you look at the energy of black hair, the hair coils 9 times before it even leaves the scalp. So if you think about that energy in a spring, that energy has come from the crown. It's reaching and receiving energy as well. And so it's a communication with the ancestors. It's a connection to the creator.
So this album got national attention and Grammy consideration. Was there a moment where it really hit you and, or were you thinking, is this real? I mean, that's a big deal.
We started the project maybe 6 or 7 years before we finished it. And there were moments when I wasn't sure it would finish.
We had to rebuild it a couple times.
Studio got flooded, bought some stuff, and then kind of changed directions with some of the people that we were working with doing production and whatnot. And so we were just trying to finish it. Really. We were just trying to put a bow on it because we had kind of started to make some other music that doesn't sound like this, to be honest with you. I mean, 7 years, you kind of change a little bit. You learn a little bit. My voice has changed since then. So we were just trying to finish it. And then somebody from the Academy submitted it. And I think 70 albums were submitted. And we were just a part of the 70. I didn't see it coming. I mean, I think people write albums to try to be in that position. But I'm also learning just kind of how the Academy works. It's great. It's great. But it's nice to talk about. It's pretty cool.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
It is.
It really is. It's exciting.
You brought in some serious legends on this project. Junior Marvin, Plunky Branch, Ross Mel. How did those collaborations come together?
So Junior Marvin, who is, I think, one of 2, I guess, of Bob Marley's Wailers that are still on this side. The list of reggae superstars, I'll say, that live in Virginia and D.C. it's insane. A lot of people don't know it, but a lot of people have either lived in D.C. or presently living in D.C. and working out of D.C. as well as Virginia. So working with this producer, Big D, his name is Derek Parker, Big Up D. He's somebody who I always wanted to work with. He picked up the album when it was kind of not dead in the water, but I always wanted to work with him. I was like, D, please, let's do something. He's like, I'm busy. He was on tour with Steel Pulse at the time. He's their front of the house sound. He's just like, I'm busy. And I'm like, come on, man, I need your help. And so he picked the album up, produced it, brought in some musicians, and Junior was one of those people who he introduced me to. And to see that whole process, we ended up doing that through Zoom. He's in Dee's studio, and I'm at home with my mouth wide open, my eyes bulging out my head because I'm looking at Junior Marvin play guitar to one of the songs that we're working on. Crazy. Desi Hyson, big name, big cool brother. He's also on the album. That's another DC link. Plunky, I've just been a fan of Plunky's forever. And, at some point, it's like, just ask. What will people say? No. And if they say no, then you got what you had when you began. There's nothing. So, closed mouths don't get fed. So I'm a big fan of Plunky. He is a legend. And it was just one of them things where I was like, let me go to one of his shows and talk to him. And I think I saw him at Dogwood Dell or something like that. And I was like, hey, man, look, I got this reggae album. It's, you know, he was like, sure, just call me. And that whole thing was crazy. Said he was coming to the studio, but we never confirmed it. I called him and he answered the phone. He was, hey, Plunky, yeah, we're at the studio tonight. All right, cool. Just send me the address. And I didn't know if he was going to come or not, but he showed up and listen to that tune. D is a huge connection to like a lot of pretty cool musicians.
Worldwide?
Worldwide, yeah. There's some people on the album, names that you may not know or names that you may not be familiar with that are part of huge projects in reggae music. And that's what he sent some stuff out, came back. And D works off of favors. You know, he takes care of people. And so he's like, hey, remember that time? You know, you got a few minutes for this album? And people are like, sure. So it's nice working with people who have good reputations in the business, who work hard, who aren't afraid of trying something different. Big D has been a big resource for like access to a lot of cool musicians.
You've opened up for Ziggy Marley, Steel Pulse, Barris Hammond. What do you take away from sharing space with artists like that?
It's always such an honor to share the stage with elder artists that really paved the way. They've really made reggae what it is, and it's an honor to be in their vicinity, you know?
It's pretty cool. During our formative years, it's music that, again, I became a singer by accident in some ways. And it wasn't my plan, you know, in elementary school, they say, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? I did not say a reggae singer. I didn't.
What did you say?
I don't know.
I was dolphin trainer.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I was cardiologist. Dolphin.
Look at us now.
Look at us now.
I will think about it though. I'll think about what I don't know. I don't really remember. I just wanted to be. I wanted to be left alone. I wanted to just do what I felt like doing. You know, I wanted to be happy, I guess, you know. But to listen to reggae music and these guys become like almost like superheroes. You know what I'm saying? Like they are very real, but you know, they're so ingrained in like that space of feel happy, feel good, feel motivated, that to see them, to then share a stage with them, and now to start to do some collaborations with them is a whole another world. But it makes it all very real too. So then your superheroes become your brothers, and your brothers are superheroes. You know, it's kind of cool. It's real cool. Big D, your friend.
We'll tell you that story later, Big D.
He was with Steel Pulse for like 16 years. And I go on tour with Big D. This is another thing that not a lot of people know. I've been assisting. Big D is the tour manager for Carl Denson's Tiny Universe. They're out of San Diego. He's also the saxophonist for the Rolling Stones. Real cool dude. The Grey Boy All-Stars is another band that he's a part of. He was in Coming to America. You know Sexual Chocolate?
Oh my
yeah.
God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of my favorite movies, for the record.
So if you go back and you watch 1 and 2, Carl Denson, when Eddie Murphy looks over and says, give it up for my band, Sexual Chocolate.
Yes.
Carl Denson is the lead singer of Sexual Chocolate. So long story short, I assist D. I like to call myself assistant tour manager for Carl Denson's Tiny Universe. But really, I'm just a roadie that's driving and lifting heavy stuff. But because D was on tour with Steel Pulse for so many years, we were on the road. I think we were coming from like Georgia not too long ago. And I said, hey, D, I mean, you on tour with Steel Pulse and you know David Hines, you know? He's just like, yeah. And I was like, can you call him? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, no, you can't. No, you can't. He was like, watch this. So he calls David Hines, and it's a voice that I listened to since I was 15, 16 years old, you know? And he answers the phone, and I'm driving a box truck, and I'm trying to just keep it in the road, you know? And I want to yell a bunch of things into the phone. I love you, David. You know, stuff. They talked for like an hour. Yeah, Steel Pulse has a song called Bodyguard, and he said the word bodyguard, and the whole song just started playing in my head. So to be in the car, they like superheroes, and then we get to play music with them, and then again, yeah, they're your brothers, they're superheroes. So
Steel Pulse was definitely my heart and soul growing growing up. So I would definitely geek out. Johnny and I were talking for a lot of reasons about Dave Grohl the other day.
Yep.
And she met him in Nags Head or saw him in a restaurant bar.
No, I waited on him.
Waited on him.
Waiting
and out of her
tables.
Trying to
mouth,
keep it together.
"You're so cool."
Oh my God. This is after. Okay, hold on. I played it cool. I waited on him. He was awesome. He was there with his sister. And then at the end, everybody stood in line to say goodbye to Dave. And he's like, "Hey, you did great." And I'm like, "Here's the cool." And he looked at me like this. Thanks.
Oh, man.
Not a proud moment.
I want to talk about the new single that's coming out. Tell us about that.
So we have a single that we have recorded. It's pretty cool. Big D is...
Oh, my God. I just can't anymore. We might need to have Big D on.
He brought this tune to us, and it's a Al Green cover tune. And it's a tune called God Bless Our Love. And it's very different. It stretches me vocally in a way that I wasn't prepared, and I still kind of feel a way about it. But it's a pretty dope song. Another guy named B.B. Seaton out of Jamaica, he also covered the tune. And to my knowledge, there's only 2 other cover tunes of this song. We recorded some of it in Mountainside, and then we recorded some vocals in Richmond at Chaco Records. It has features from Desiree Roots. She's a beautiful, beautiful voice, a beautiful spirit. And then Plunky is also featured on it. It's a big tune. It's a little different from what we normally sound like, in my opinion. But I think we pull it off quite sweet.
So when is that coming out?
Hopefully, we will do some of the photo stuff for it at the end of March. And then we can start pumping it and pushing it online, probably promote it for a couple of weeks, and then drop it.
So spring. We get it for spring?
Let's just say late spring.
Pre-summer.
Maybe we'll do a launch here.
I'm
Yeah,
with it.
definitely. Definitely.
Now, how does that shift from Dreaducation?
It's a big shift. I would say. I mean, if you think about Al Green, it's definitely, it's love and happiness. It's R&B, it's soul, it's reggae, and we flip it. So it's in a reggae version, a reggae style. But it's definitely, it's real, very soulful song. It feels different.
I cannot
Me either.
wait.
You know
I
that
do know
song?
that song. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's one.
I'm excited.
That's
So
one.
you're flipping it to reggae, which is, I can't wait.
There's a lot of similarities between Motown and reggae as well, so it's kind of natural.
I'm excited.
We are too. And then after that, we have another project that Ian is dialing in, focusing in on. And that's our Mountainside sessions. Already, 5 tunes, 6 tunes, 5.
Explain that.
Some of these songs, I think that a couple of tunes maybe came from rehearsal. Yeah, we played one tonight. I know that like during COVID, when people were still like washing their groceries off before they brought them in the house, Ian and I would sit in his studio space and work on some stuff that we were doing in rehearsal with the full band, and also just spending time trying to make music. So we came up with about 5 or 6 tunes between that, and went to Mountainside in Charlottesville, recorded it. And I really like it a lot because it speaks to a time. Like it's a capsule. It's a very strong time capsule. Short, but hopefully you'll get that at the end of the year too.
We have to talk about the Makindu Children's Center. This is such a powerful part of your story.
Again, I'm, funny with time, but me as well as the band have been supporting Children's Center in Kenya, East Africa, in a small town called Makindu. I met a guy named Michael Farley out in Goochland County probably 20 years ago. He was the CEO of the organization I worked with. And he walked up to me and he says, "Would you like to go to Africa?" And so I knew what he was doing in Africa. He was in the Peace Corps in the 70s, and he met a woman who was working in a space with some kids in a small town called Makindu. They didn't have anything, much of anything, some clothes, the clothes on their back, and she was helping these youth. It was like 6 or 7 kids, I believe, that she would feed every other day. I think she was in the Peace Corps. Her name is Winnie. Michael met Winnie, and Michael says, "What are you doing here?" And she was like, "I do this, I do that, supporting these kids." And she was like, "I could use some help." And he was like, "How can I help?" And she was like, "Money. I need money." And he was like, "Let's see what we can do." So Michael and some friends in the Peace Corps came together and was like, "Look, let's raise some money for this woman that's helping these orphan children." These children were mostly orphaned by parents with AIDS. So there was a place where kids could come and start to eat and get medication. And now it's grown to something where it's not fully self-sufficient, but it's a center where kids can get anything and everything that they need to be great. Serves about 500 children on site. And then it's also off site. It's another 500 children that are served. And we have guardians in place to take care of the youth. And we have like a GOAT program where we raise funds here in the United States and we gift homes with like female goats get pregnant. Then you have milk and you have meat and all types of things. So Michael says, how can we get people to pay attention to the AIDS pandemic in sub-Saharan East Africa? And he said, let's do a walkathon. So the first plan, I think, was to try to walk from South Africa to Egypt. I think that was the plan. And somebody was like, Michael, that's crazy. It's logistically impossible. And so, Michael doing what he does, he is a superhero. He's talking to people trying to figure out how he can do something they ended up doing something called a proper walk. And the proper walk is a walk that you don't necessarily know your destination. You're on a walk. You're on a walkabout. They started doing this proper walk where they would take about 15 Americans and about 30 camels and would walk for about 10 days in East Africa. And we'd tent at night, walk during the day, and raise money and awareness for the children at the center here stateside. The first year I did it, we had to raise $10,000. And so everybody that walks would raise $10,000. And we do it every other year. This will be my eighth year. It's going strong. We will be at Potter's Cider April 11th, where we do something called Harambe Ya Makindu, which is a big party that we do with the catering outfit. And it's to raise as much money as we can that night. It's a real party. The food is amazing. And we'll play along with 3 or 4 other bands. Josh Mayo Band, the Pollocks. There's a couple other bands that'll also be there.
Is that Charlottesville or Richmond?
It's Charlottesville. It's the 4th annual, so this will be our 4th. I'm going to try and raise $10,000 this year. Last year, the goal was like $5,000, but I want to see if I can raise $10,000 this year. I go there, we walk, raise money, and I have some musicians that I work with too, so we've performed there as well a couple of times.
Have you been able to hang out with any of the kids when you're there?
Yeah, when we arrive, it's an emotional roller coaster because you have about 200, 300, 400 kids racing towards you down this stretch of red dirt, dust flying all over the place, smiles, people holding on. And now it's just like, it's just family at this point. Like, go back and I'm able to see the children grow, and they are very appreciative of the sacrifice that's made. Thank you for singing for us. Thank you for mighty, 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 mighty. It's pretty cool. So if y'all want to go, talk to me. Like, it's an amazing trip, amazing mission, amazing organization. The people that work to make this happen are some of the most beautiful. They're angels. They're beautiful people.
We got to add the April to our calendar as
Yes.
well. Outside of coming to the event in April, for anyone listening that feels pulled into the mission, can you share a little bit about how they could help support?
Makindu.org is a place that you can go, that you can donate, or you can even find out more information about the Children's Center. And just talking about it. One thing I've learned about hanging out with these elders that have done this for a while is that just if you know something good, then talk about it. You know what I mean? And you never know who's in the elevator with you. I talk to strangers. You know what I'm saying? They say don't talk to strangers. I talk to strangers because anything can happen. I know that there are children who are amazing lights that need what seems pretty basic, food, clothing, shelter, books.
Things we all totally take for granted.
Yeah. And so, I tell people about it. So if you don't have money, it's not always about money. Sometimes it's about speaking to somebody that got money. If you know something good, then share it.
Love it.
With everything you've got going on, travel, music, purpose, what keeps you grounded?
No matter where you go, you got to come home and wash the dishes. You know what I'm saying? So like, I walk down the downtown mall and it's like, hey, Mighty Joshua. And you got to go home and walk the dog. So family, like my family is pretty close. My mother and father would come to my shows. My brothers are at my shows. Pull up in Charlottesville. The guest list is like ridiculous. But family definitely will keep you grounded and just remembering like what we really doing this for. Like, I don't feel like we'll ever be filthy rich doing this. And it doesn't matter if we are or if we're not. Like, we still going to do what we do. So I think just knowing like your purpose, and then also the children at the center, knowing that like what we do comes with a mission and a responsibility. Like reggae music is different than some other genres of music. Like some music is for the party completely. And then some music is for really trying to like the betterment of the world in a way. And so when you sing that music comes with responsibility. So remembering like where you are with the whole thing is just a messenger and never forgetting that part.
All right, we're going to jump into a speed round. This is just your instinctive answer. Pre-show ritual.
Find a moment to be by myself.
And things we can't talk about.
I mean, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk all day about it.
I'm a grown-ass man.
Right.
First thing you do after the show.
Try not to leave the dressing room if I can help it, because that's when I say weird stuff.
That's where we need the meow meow.
Yeah.
Meow meow.
I try to have a moment before I try to talk to people, because, you know, you're on stage, you give everything you got, and then people want to have conversation, and you really don't have much to say. So I just try not to leave for a few minutes.
I'm pretty much the same, you know, just kind of
Decompress.
Yeah, decompress.
What is your go-to snack?
I like dried fruit. I got a sweet tooth. I like chocolate and like cashews and pistachios and stuff like that. It's just easy to eat on the road, and it's not bad for you.
So who's the first person you text or call after a big show?
Probably my big brother. If he's not at the show, then probably going to call him or text him to tell him about the show.
Ian, you want to jump in on this one?
Yeah, probably just a text to my wife to let her know I'm on my way home.
I love that.
All right, I want to know a song outside of all of this that grounds you spiritually.
Silence. I think the misconception about musicians sometimes is that we always listen to music. And I think silence is absolutely beautiful.
We've actually heard that from a number of musicians that just really prefer quiet. It's definitely a common thread.
Probably right now it's the tunes that we have that we're working on in the studio. I get a lot of inspiration from them. I've listened to them 1,000 times at this point, probably more. Every time it's, you know, trying to get the most out of it. And, you know, they're inspirational tunes. They're big tunes. A lot of talent on the recordings as well.
Ocean or mountains?
Mountains.
If it's surfable, and the ocean.
City you could play over and over again.
Bahia.
One thing fans might be surprised to know about you.
That I ate goat one time. I don't even know. I was out in the middle of the bushes. I don't think I've told anybody that. Yeah, I was in Kenya and we bought a goat. We were in the bush like day 5 walking, and everybody was talking about how good it was. I haven't eaten meat since I was like 15. So I was just like, all right, let me see what it tastes like. It was really chewy.
Oh, boy.
All right, I'll make you feel better. In the Cayman Islands, I was talked into tasting, and it's hard for me to say it. It's actually hard for me to say it, but turtle. If you like filet mignon, my God.
Really?
But
it was good?
It was the best I have ever had in my life. But I'd never do it again because I love turtles and I feel bad.
That's like me with frog legs. No, thank you. I don't like anything that says they're going to taste like something. You know, if you're going to be chicken, be chicken. Be who you are, man. You know, don't tell me frog legs taste like chicken and tell me to eat it. Dream Festival lineup. Who's on it with you?
Jacob Miller, Mortimer, Fela Kuti, James Brown, and Midnight.
I'd have to say this classic Jamaican artists, Gregory Isaacs, Roots Radix, Dennis Brown, of course, all 3 Wailers.
So if you ever have a question, just know that love is the answer. All right? Every single time. Here we are. No matter the question, love is always the answer. Answer. No matter the question, love, it's always the answer. The answer. No matter the question, love, it's always the answer. It's the answer.
No matter the question, love. So you say, hey brother Joshua, how do you live, sir, with so many backbiter and blood-sucking vampire? When it comes to love, there can be no reservations. An offering of love, there can be no conditions. From the Genesis, the design was perfection. Purity at heart, we've learned the visions. Hear why. No matter the question, love is always the answer. It's the answer. No matter the question, love, always the answer. It's the answer. No matter the question, love, always the answer. It's the answer. No matter the question, love. Watch. Love and only love is what we need for healing. Reconnection with the one. Pure reception. Just don't overthink. I say we move by feeling. More love like the trees love the wind. Matter the question, love. Always the answer. It's the answer. No matter the question, love. It's always the answer. Answer. No matter the question, love. Always the answer. It's the answer. No matter the question, love.
Right, John.
All right, let's tell everybody where they can find out about upcoming shows for Mighty Joshua.
MightyJoshua.com was just upgraded to like premium status. It's amazing, and I think that you can find pretty much everything you need to know about us, MightyJoshua.com. But at Mighty Joshua on Instagram, I believe it's like at Mighty Joshua on YouTube and TikTok.
All the links in the body of this podcast, so you can just click and follow Mighty Joshua everywhere they are. And Ian and Joshua, we're so excited you guys were on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Can't wait to go in April. What else did we commit to? August.
Charlottesville. I can't wait for that. I love that venue.
And if you know anybody in Colorado, hopefully we'll be out Colorado June, end of June maybe. Just stay tuned.
Stay mighty.
Stay mighty.
To follow Mighty Joshua on Instagram and Facebook, go to @MightyJoshua, and on TikTok @Mighty Joshua. And check out their new website, MightyJoshua.com. This has been such an incredible conversation.
Thank you so much for bringing your music, your energy, and your purpose.
This is The Hook.
So if you're creative and listening to this,
We want your story.
the messy one,
The real one.
and the one that you don't usually post.
You can submit to be on the show by visiting our website and filling out the Be on the Hook form. Just head to JohniandJess.com. That's JohniandJess.com. That's where you'll find everything you need to get started. Make sure to follow us on social media @Johni and Jess on TikTok, and you can find The Hook with Johni and Jess on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
To stay up to date on new episodes, featured artists, and what's coming next.
This has been Jess,
And Johnny,
reminding you,
every artist has a story.
and every story has a hook.
You're on the hook with Johnny and Jess. Real conversations with musicians, artists, and creatives.
If you're a musician, artist, or creative, your website shouldn't look like an afterthought.
Your brand is your stage, and your website is often the first place people decide if you're the real deal.
River City Consulting builds websites specifically for creatives, musicians, performers, and artists who need an online presence that matches their talent.
They're also the official website agency for the Hook podcast.
Learn more at rivercityconsulting.com and use promo code THEHOOK for serious savings.
The Hook podcast.